Good morning. This is Cynthia A. Johnson with Standup Now. Thank you for tuning in to this show. I hope you find this half hour enjoyable and inspiring as we showcase regular people from the city of Detroit who are doing great things and really making a difference in our city, the city of Detroit. Good morning. This is Cynthia A. Johnson with Standup Now, and WDRJ 1440 is our radio station located on the boulevard just east of Woodward. It is a wonderful, wonderful day, and such a beautiful day today. I was on my way in and I was just thinking, oh my God, God is so awesome, just absolutely awesome, and has given us another day. Praise his holy name. I'm so thankful. We cannot, not for one moment, but some of us do, we should never just take for granted the days that God has given us. And I know I don't. I'm just so thankful. And so this is going to be a grand, great show. I have a special guest here today, Miss Tanya Britt, and such a magnificent photographer.
Good morning, and thank you for welcoming me today, Cynthia.
Oh, you are so welcome. I wish you all could just see how gorgeous this young lady is.
Thank you.
I met Tanya about, what was that, Tanya? About
2 years ago.
Was it
2
years ago?
2 or more.
Yeah, 2 or more years ago. And I decided today that we are going to showcase Miss Tanya Britt, who is you're a photographer.
Yes, I graduated from Wayne State in May with a BA in photography and a minor in media arts.
All right. And she's on Facebook, and she does a lot of writing, and
yes.
She does a lot. This lady has a lot of skills. She's a Detroiter, and
I love my city.
And we're not. Are you going anywhere?
Not anywhere in the near future. No.
That's right. I know I'm not. I intend to stay here. Before we go on, though, I would like to let you all know that this show is in part sponsored by Right Way Drugs, Fraser Drugs, which is located on Grand River between the Boulevard and Scotton. So they are some magnificent people. So I just want to do a shout out to Right Way Fraser Drugs, which is located on the Boulevard. Fantastic people. Anything you might need, hardware, drinks, food, clothes, go on by and tell Mike that Cynthia Johnson from Stand Up Now sent you, and I'm sure he will give you a discount on something. Fantastic people. And we have another guest in the studio, and this is Marilyn Zimmerwoman, a fantastic individual. I met both Marilyn and Tanya about the same time. Actually, I met Tanya first because she did something that was awesome, but we're not going to talk about that right now. They just do some awesome things. Miss Marilyn Zimmerwoman is a
Associate Professor in the Department of Art and Art History at Wayne State University.
Forgive me for umming and humming. This is live radio, and so forgive me.
An artist in residence at the Center for Peace and Conflict Studies, which is also at Wayne State University.
All right.
That amazing place.
Yes, it is. That amazing place is still open. Are we? Is there any fear for it closing or needing for funding?
Yes, it does need funding. It needs support. It needs acknowledgement, and we're always strategizing for enlarging the support for this center, where it's one of the few places that people can study conflict resolution, and it greatly services this community. It has intervened with the Mideastern community. It was after 9/11. It protected the Mideastern businesses. It services our city youth. It is a presence that is so needed at this time when there's so much conflict, so much strife, so much war, so much division, so much hate. Never before do we need these centers, which started in reaction to the Vietnam War in the 70s, and it's been servicing this community for all this time. It needs funding, it needs support. Whatever you can do to honor the Center for Peace and Conflict Studies would be appreciated.
And you guys are located, or you women, you all are located at Wayne State University.
I teach photography on the 4th floor of Old Main. It's a great community. It's part of the Department of Art and Art History, and we teach digital. We have a great lab in digital and black and white darkroom practices, and we have amazing new colleagues, and it's a growing program. We have from 19th century processes to the time-based media in our department. And our students are very active. They do stories of Detroit, and it's interviewing people in the community and making photographs. It was initiated by Tom Culver, and it has many of our photography majors who make these photographs and interview the people of Detroit. It's called People of Detroit.
People of Detroit. And your conflict resolution program sounds magnificent. We need, as you already have said, we need that right now more than ever. It's awful, but we have some awesome things that are going on, and awesome people, and two of whom are with me. Let's talk to this is conversation too, okay, by the way, and going to Tanya Britt. Tell us a little bit about you and how you and Marilyn met. And of course, we are dedicating this show to you, Tanya.
And throat cancer awareness.
And throat cancer awareness, and other people who are struggling and working through having cancer.
Yes. I met Marilyn when I was enrolled at Wayne State University. She became a mentor, and I really look up to her, very supportive. And she really played a role in me discovering that I had throat cancer. I mistook it for a sinus infection that went on for months. I was sick from January into May, and it was Professor Marilyn Zimmerwoman, who encouraged me to go to the doctor to see what was going on and check myself out.
Were you afraid, or you had no idea?
I did not think it was serious, and she told me it sounds serious.
What was some of the things that you were exhibiting?
My symptoms consisted of symptoms you would associate with a common cold. I had sinus congestion, and it was just, it's really it's very important that people are aware of the symptoms and signs of throat cancer, because they come on as a common cold, and stuffy nose, stopped up ears, and a sore throat, and then it's potentially a deadly disease. And so because Marilyn got me to go to the doctor and I was checked out, I was able to find out that they did a CAT scan and determined they were 99% certain that I had a cancerous tumor. And as I said, people go months. I went months without seeking medical attention, and it's very deadly. The earlier you're diagnosed with throat cancer, the earlier your treatments can start, and the more chances you have of surviving. I have some statistics here that I'd like to share with you.
Please share.
Close to 42,000 Americans will be diagnosed with oral cancer this year. It will cause over 8,000 deaths, killing roughly one person per hour, 24 hours per day. Of those 42,000 newly diagnosed individuals, only slightly more than half will be alive in 5 years. That's approximately 57%. This cancer kills. People may not be aware of it. The death rate is higher for oral cancer than it is for Hodgkin's lymphoma, cancer of the testes, skin cancer. So it's very important that people are aware of the dangers of throat cancer. I'm not a smoker.
I was about to ask you.
I'm not
are you
a
smoker?
I am not a smoker or a drinker.
Have you ever been?
Never. I have drink. I drink occasionally at functions and holidays, and never been drunk, never consumed or excess.
But people relate smoking, when they hear throat cancer, they relate throat cancer to a person or people who are smokers.
Well, I'm not saying it could not be caused by secondhand smoke. I was a flight attendant for several years for a major international airline where we went overseas, 8-hour flights, 7-hour flights, and the plane 747 was filled with smoke. So I have been around smoke, and smokers, and my dad was a smoker. He smoked cigars, and so it could be caused by secondhand smoke.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Definitely.
My father, I don't know if you remember this, but 2 years ago, my father, he died of throat cancer.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, when I see people smoke, and I was a smoker once upon a time, but I have not smoked since, and I know the exact date, April 24th or April 25th, 2005.
When you stopped smoking?
When I stopped smoking, 2 o'clock in the morning.
Okay.
That's another story. But my dad, he died of throat cancer.
And he probably had the symptoms of a cold and didn't take it seriously.
Well, not only that, but he did not share that information with the family.
Okay.
I don't know why he felt that he did not want to share the information, but I noticed that
there was a time back then when it was like hush-hush. You didn't want people to know about it.
Time back then, I was about to say, even now.
Even now. When I first discovered I had throat cancer, I wanted to keep it to myself. It was like I felt guilty for having it. I did something wrong.
Okay, I think this goes to a phenomena of elastic memory. I think we can...
This is Marilyn.
Yeah, like this. And I talked to Tanya for a long time about going to the doctor.
Did you?
Yes, she did.
And she said she was afraid, and she said, when I go, it's going to be something big. Mm-hmm. And so what happened is she waited until it was something big. Mm-hmm. And there's something in the community of people of color where it's elastic memory. We can progress, and it snaps back into plantation thinking.
Wow. Explain that.
It takes a long time to progress, okay?
What does?
Okay.
Thinking
into being a fully entitled human being, into all of the freedoms and entitlements that we have.
Wow.
And so coming from a history of being regarded as less than a full person, on the plantation, if a slave was sick, they were a liability and thus worthless, so they were killed. Thus, to this day, a person of color internalizes the shame and takes on an outcast status when sick. They hide. They deny their illness, and they refuse to seek help. They do not entitle themselves. So too often one waits too long until it's a matter of life and death, and that's what happened to Tanya. We have a pay or die system which profits off the sick. There's a long history.
Wow.
Okay? Mm-hmm, all right? There's a lot of work to do on our consciousness, a lot of work to do on our collective consciousness. I may be a white girl, but there's an inner black woman named Peaches, okay? All right? Okay?
All right? Peaches.
Yeah, it was because of Marilyn that I decided to come forward publicly, and I wrote my article for Examiner.com to make other people aware of the disease, because otherwise I wanted to keep it quiet.
I remember
I'd hear Marilyn telling somebody, I would say, oh, well, don't tell anybody I'm sick, because I didn't want to appear sick and weak. I didn't want to appear vulnerable, and like I said, cancer is a very scary disease, and I was blessed that Marilyn got me to the doctor in time, and I had an opportunity to fight this disease.
Well, Marilyn, again, she is a phenomenal woman. I mean,
Awesome.
You know, she is an awesome woman, but you know, there are awesome women who are. I include myself. Tanya Britt. You know, just awesome women. And I'm just so thankful that you.
Hey, Cynthia, I consider you an awesome woman, and I admire you for the work you do in the community. You're making a difference. One block at a time, you're out there, you're making a difference. You're cleaning up the streets, you're getting people to participate and volunteer their time, and I really admire you for that. And I believe you have a place in a public office, making a difference.
Well, you know, that's all God. God is God. This is all God. It's not about me. It's not about you. It's about God. And I'm just so thankful that Marilyn insisted that you go to the doctor. I really am. I remember when some of us tried to go on Facebook and share your story, and I remember you getting a little upset, even with me.
So that's another thing I had to work on. I had to work on Tanya sharing her story. I had to work on her allowing her friends to create a team and surround her with our love and support and get the story out. I had to, there's all these incredible, the world is changing where we have these grassroots tools of crowdsourcing and fundraising and this phenomena of the internet. So there's this incredible GoFundMe.com. So we created a team for Tanya. So if you go to GoFundMe.com and then you go to team space for space Tanya, it was a page started by Sean Marshall and myself to bring family, friends, and allies together to support Tanya through her health crisis and to healing. And you can donate money. You can create a community that transcends the geography. It can be as vast as however people's heart can carry them.
Yes.
And there's comments of support, and Tanya very much has engaged in the social networking, and she's very proficient at it. And it's interesting that
Thank you, Marilyn.
She did.
It's the truth.
It's interesting that she didn't want us to use it for herself. We had to fight for her to entitle herself to this incredible resource. And she lives in a neighborhood where it's like one of the few functional houses in one of the blighted neighborhoods that we're so aware of, where it's dangerous for her to like take in the sunshine on the porch or walk around the neighborhood, that she can't be at peace in her own neighborhood to take in the environment of the neighbors or the sunshine or the grass.
Right.
And so she's been hidden in the house with the support of her family, but and she also needs an incredibly nurturing diet. We've educated Tanya. Tanya's been doing a lot of research on what to do for her diet.
Because because of my treatment, it's been difficult to eat, and I have lost like over 40 pounds during my treatment. I went through radiation and chemo throughout the summer from June to October, radiation every day, 5 days a week.
Wow.
As far as Marilyn talking about, my neighborhood, there's challenges in Detroit. We're aware of that. Marilyn is aware of that, and that doesn't stop Marilyn from being out in the community, and you yourself, Cynthia, making a difference. And the community, a lot of people have moved out. There's a lot of vacant homes and a lot of deterioration in the neighborhood. But the people who remain are strong, and they stick together and they look out for each other.
Yes, we do.
It's the people who come into the neighborhood to dump and to steal and take what's left in the homes. And, it's really sad, but we have to remain strong and believe that Detroit can recover.
And I know that we know that it can recover.
Just like your belief that I can recover. We have to believe that Detroit can recover. We have some beautiful people in Detroit.
We have.
People doing things. And that's why I dedicate my time to writing about people such as yourself and Professor Zimmerwoman.
And I want to thank you for all the times that you've written on issues and things that I've done. Marilyn?
Well, it's New Art, the New Art Examiner. So, and the most recent article was about the Gilded Show, honoring Gilda Snowden at CCS, who is a mentor.
The New Art Examiner?
Tanya, you want to give them your...
Examiner.com.
There you go.
Examiner.com. Okay.
And my title is Detroit Faces and Places and Neighborhoods. I have a wide range of topics I can write about. I'm not writing for the money. I'm writing to let people know around the world that there are people in Detroit doing things. There are positive people here. This is not just the murder capital of the United States. There are people here who love Detroit and want to see Detroit recover.
Yes, we do.
So they go to they go to examiner.com.
Examiner.com, and I'm listed under
your name.
Britt Tanya. Britt Tanya. They put
all
my
one word.
They
all one
know
word
it's 2 words. They put my last name first, and I have no problem with Britt.
Did you say Britt or great?
Yeah, Britt. Yeah,
Britt.
Okay.
Britt
Okay.
Tanya.
B-R-I-T-T.
Instead of Tanya Britt, they just put my name reverse. Britt Tanya.
Okay.
And she really celebrates the art community. As I said, she just wrote the article about the Waddell Gallery, and there's such a richness here. We have a world-class art community in Detroit.
Awesome.
And for years they said it was the best kept secret in the country, but now the whole world is watching us. We are a leader. And there's an incredible grassroots activism led by Grace Lee Boggs.
How is Grace doing?
She is terrific, and she has this saying, this is the time to grow our souls. This is the time to grow our souls. And one of the phenomena of growing our souls is being in that grassroots activism. Wayne State University has a student-run free clinic.
A student-run
free clinic.
medical clinic?
It's a medical clinic. It's where I took Tanya. I took Tanya.
Wow.
I was looking for free clinics in the area. There are several. Okay,
What is the name
area.
of that clinic? And give a phone number for that clinic too, please.
Well, they can go into the Wayne State website. It's the Robert R. Frank Student-Run Free Clinic.
And there is a waiting list, so you have to, be prepared to wait.
Well, you know what I did is I used everything, all of my tools of persuasion and my status to bump Tanya up to the front. Okay, I said it's so urgent.
Okay, listen, audience, family, friends. This is what we need to do. When a person or an organization such as this, if they tell you no, don't take no as a no.
That's right.
You have to be your biggest advocate.
That's
and that's
right.
what you did on behalf of Tanya.
And especially what they did was we had a conference call, and I told them my symptoms, and when they heard that I was bleeding, and that signs of blood is very serious.
Bleeding from
my throat. I would gargle up blood because the tumor was expanding behind it originated behind my sinuses, and so it started blocking my tonsils and all that, and it was making room for itself, so it was causing some bleeding. I didn't have any pain. So when you don't have pain, you don't take it seriously. So if you're sick and you're not having pain, don't let that stop you from going to the doctor.
That's right.
I had no pain the entire time. But the symptoms did progress to some signs of bleeding, and so that's why the student clinic made an exception and took me in to see what was going on.
So this clinic is operating in collaboration with the Mercy Primary Community Care Center, and it's part of the Wayne State University service to the urban environment. And we have a new president, Dr. Rory Wilson.
Who's we?
Wayne State University has a new president, who's a medical doctor and a scholar. He assumed the presidency in August, and prior he worked at the National Institute of Health. And so I wrote just yesterday to the president's office to tell them about you and this broadcast and about the free clinic at Wayne State University and how it saved Tanya's life.
Yes.
So I want him to know how great that is and to honor that place. And by honor it, we give light to it, we appreciate it, and that there are other free clinics. There are other systems, but we need to collect all of this information so that people know where they can go, how to seek help, and you have to fight. You have to fight for your entitlement to get healed.
That's right. Wow. Both of you ladies have so much to offer and have given so much to our community. And Tanya, we are praying that God restores you, whatever God's will is. And not only for you, Tanya, But for anyone who's out there, it doesn't necessarily have to be just cancer.
Yes, any illness.
But any illness. For instance, some people would look at me and they would never know that I have some of the medical issues that I have.
Mm-hmm.
But audience, people, if you have something going on, if it doesn't seem right, go to the doctor, check it out. And another thing, too, we in our community, the black community, African American community, we have some real issues with seeking help through therapy.
Mm-hmm.
We get depressed and don't want to deal with it.
Mm-hmm.
Having these types of illnesses can lead you into a depression, and that's
definitely
it's real.
And since you brought that up, I would like to thank my Facebook community for supporting me and offering prayers and just messages of support, and that made a difference because it wasn't an easy treatment I went through.
Oh, I
God
know,
is so
I
good,
know.
girl.
And she's worked really hard to stay positive. She's like a warrior.
Oh.
So there are spiritual warriors, and Tanya really is. She really does try to stay positive, and what she does in her examiner.com is she writes and brings light to other people that give creatively to this community.
Tanya, it's okay, honey. Tanya is joyfully tearing up, and it's okay.
Yeah, and I did want to mention that because I had the strength to come forward and share my story, people have told me you have inspired me because I wasn't going to go to the doctor and I wasn't going to, share my experience and see what was wrong. I knew something was wrong, and because you shared your story, I sought medical attention.
I just want to thank both of you for being here, for being the guest of Stand Up Now. You've offered so much. Is there any last-minute things that you might want to say?
Well, let's support our president. Let's support our president who initiated health care for the citizens.
Our President
Obama.
That's right.
Hey, there's nothing worse than being sick and not wanting to go to the hospital because, the bills. How can I afford that? I can't do that. Yeah.
Okay. I want to thank both of you. Thank you so much for being here. Is there any last-minute thing that you wanted to say?
You can go to GoFundMe, Team for Tanya, to support Tanya, and you can vote progressively because we have to create new paradigms for our healing for this country, and we don't become ourselves by ourselves, we have to help one another.
Detroit, the snow is gone. It's time for us to clean the city. See you next week. God bless you.
Thank you.
Get